I'm Justin Boyd.
Hi, I'm George Luna.
Hey, I'm Brittany Pacheco.
What's up, y'all? I'm Frank Cooper.
And I'm Nathan Hale. And we are the Watchers in the Basement.
Welcome to a series finale version of WandaVision. It's over, guys. 2 months, 9 episodes. Show is over. So let's get right to it. The episode 9, it was actually titled series finale. What did y'all think overall of the finale? And were you disappointed at all? I'm gonna start out with George. What'd you think, George?
I think this season went by so fast. I'm bummed that there was not an extra episode. Like I assumed there was going to be 10 for some reason. I'm not going to say I was disappointed. I think it was a solid finale. Was I disappointed that there wasn't like crazy theories that we like went into in the show? I'm a little bummed, sure, but overall it was a solid finale, so I can't really complain about it. I'm just kind of bummed and sad that there was no cameos or appearances or any of that, but what can we do? So overall it was solid.
Yeah, I think it was a case of where we all kind of built it up. We had expectations that weren't really realistic because, I mean, the show, it's called WandaVision, so it's going to be about those two characters. You know, it's like none of the other MCU properties, you know, their sole goal is to introduce somebody else. Do they do that stuff? Yes, they do, but like in very small ways. Frank, what did you think about the finale?
I thought it was great. Now that I think about it, I think Disney did a great job of like really focusing this story on those two characters, Wanda and Vision. Because I feel like if you would have introduced more Avengers or major characters, it probably would have taken away from the attention of those two characters that they're trying to build up. And if Disney Plus is going to do this for other minor characters, give them a platform, I think that's great for the Marvel brand because it's going to make minor characters become major characters. Because who would have thought 9 weeks ago that we would give a damn about Lizzie Olsen as an actress? Like I'm a hardcore fan now. I don't watch every interview now. From Fallon to Kimmel. I mean, she's probably the hottest thing on the planet right now as far as acting chops. But I mean, I was a fan of the series. I was a fan of the finale. Brittany knows I'm not a big Doctor Strange fan, but I'm actually looking forward to the sequel now to see what's gonna pop up and see what she's gonna play a role in the sequel. So.
Yeah, it kind of just shows you kind of Marvel's power to, like you said, take, you know, secondary or, you know, third or fourth, you know, C-level characters and elevate them to where, you know, they're like the most important thing in the world. It's kind of, and you're right, Marvel's going to continue to do this. Like we have the Falcon and Winter Soldier coming up. We have Loki, which, you know, obviously he's a fairly big character. We've got She-Hulk and we've got Miss Marvel and Moon Knight. I mean, we have characters that like I had never heard of a couple of years ago. You know, like I'd never heard of Moon Knight or Miss Marvel. There's so much more coming, and this is just the first thing. And you know, I think overall, my perspective, I think it was an incredible show. There are certain things about it, and we'll get into that in a second, that I wish would have been different. But overall, like I think they totally knocked it out of the park, and you know, elevated their brand even more, if that's even possible. Brittany, what say you about the finale overall?
Yeah, to, you know, kind of echo what George and Frank have already said, I think it started off slow for many people with the first 2 episodes, but then by the third, it really picked up. Obviously, the finale, I think the finale, like what everyone is saying, was solid. In ways, I'm a little disappointed, but that's my own or our own doing because we kind of set ourselves up for that disappointment. I think there was a lot of potential that could have been there. You know, they could have really just gone, you know, keep going, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I kind of relate it to, in a way, Game of Thrones season 8. You know, we kind of came up with a really good way of ending the series with season 8. And I think what we were kind of saying for WandaVision could have been excellent, but at the same time, this show was solely about Wanda and Vision, and that was delivered for sure. We obviously have a lot of tidbits to talk about with other characters, as well as what's going to happen, like Frank said, with Wanda in the new Doctor Strange movie. But I mean, I really enjoy this show. I mean, for me, is it going to be like a constant rewatch like some of these other MCU movies? Maybe not, but it does set up a good foundation for what's going to come in the next phase with Marvel. Nathan, what say you?
I enjoyed it, and you know, to kind of piggyback on what Justin was saying, and quite a few of you have really said, I think we set to a degree our expectations too high. Never, other than in the very occasional MCU film, have we seen like this huge mashup of all the characters. So I think we set our heights too high on where they wanted to go. They traditionally just kind of eke out a little, and then they'll give us a end credit scene as to what's to come next and have the tie-in there. But as far as some of the ideas we had that we expected, I know there's two I had that I believe were there, which we'll get into when we get to that point.
Okay. Yeah, I think something I want to kind of also point out is Marvel, you know, this is what they do. They don't have to give us everything in the movie because they know that like they do it well. They give it piece by piece and we all like it. You know, like Marvel doesn't have to, you know, kill Superman in the sequel movie and have Batman fight Superman and then have, you know, they don't have to do like 17 things in one film. They can, you know, slowly, you know, introduce things. And that's why, you know, it's worked for 23 movies. And now, you know, it's going to be 6 or 7 TV series. And one of those TV series that's coming up is Secret Invasion, which we got, you know, a little hint to that in the mid-credit scene. So I think that like the, you know, any kind of criticism for the show is solely because people, you know, people on the internet get really cocky and they think they know everything. And I mean, there were things that I didn't like about it, but like I was happy that the internet was kind of knocked down a peg. You know, the internet deserves to be humbled from time to time because I don't know. There's a lot of people on the internet I don't like, and so
Oh my God,
I was
will
happy
say
they're wrong.
I will say to kind of piggyback off that real quick, Justin, and then we can really get into the episode. The memes that came out of this were just hilarious. I think was it The Ringer or Binge Mode? One of the two came out with, you know, like an interview happening. He's like, remember when we all said Mephisto was going to come on and this was going to happen, this was going to happen. None of that shit happened. And it was just like,
well, I'm going to stick a pin in that part.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't doubt that, Nathan, but the memes were just great.
Well, let's get into it. Like what things did we want to see that didn't happen? I'm going to go to George. What were you hoping would happen that didn't happen that you're kind of bummed out about?
Well, I'm curious to hear Nathan's thing because I'm really curious about that. But I guess the one thing we all wanted to see that we talked about on the show was the X-Men, like somehow bringing the X-Men universe into it. But it turned out to just be a boner joke.
Right.
That was probably the greatest setup for a boner joke of all time.
Which the boner thing actually has more context. I heard on another podcast
from that TV show.
So from the God, why am I Growing Pains? Yeah, so
Growing Pains,
the neighbor kid, his nickname was Boner, and they would say that all the time. Which I remember even as a kid when I would see that show, which I wasn't a big fan of the show, but I'd see it and I was like, man, that's a tough nickname for a kid, like Boner. But yeah, and also apparently the director of every episode of WandaVision was a child actor. He was an actor in that series, like, you know, as a little, you know, as a child actor in like a guest spot. He was in a couple episodes with Boner, and so that was part of that.
I do want to throw this out there. There are worse nicknames. He could have been called Limp Dick.
He could be, yeah. But you know, speaking of Boner, like I went to school with a kid whose name was Dusty Boner. Not kidding.
Shout out Dusty Boner.
No, listen. I'm not even kidding. His brother's name was Rusty Boner. Also not kidding.
God.
And of course, his dad, they called him Papa Boner. So
did the parents just like hate their kids? I mean,
they
what the
for
hell?
sure hated them. Yeah.
Man,
I mean,
that's rough.
So the dad was called Papa Boner. What did the wife call him?
I mean, the Papa Boner was a joke, obviously, but maybe not so obviously, but
Oh man.
yeah, I think that's probably the thing I feel like the most cheated from, because to make it that silly was, I don't know, that bothered me, because Marvel doesn't do stuff that cheap, and it's like
Yeah.
you tease us that it might be someone from another universe or whatever, and the thing is they didn't really close the door on the fact that those characters aren't going to be in the MCU, but I don't know. It definitely made me think, like, from now on, let's don't get our hopes up for them bringing these characters in, because that was probably the weakest part of the finale and of the season for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
That was definitely a letdown. But other than that, I think what else did we want to see, guys? At least Doctor Strange. I really did that it could have happened. Like, he should have sensed all that power. Like, why the fuck didn't he show up?
Yeah.
So I mean,
but we did get kind of a nod to him in the post credit. Like there, and like obviously Sorcerer Supreme was mentioned.
Mhm.
I'm going to go to Brittany, because I know she wants to talk about a certain character that I also agree this was kind of cheap. What did you think about Director Hayward, Brittany?
Listen, in the last pod, I said I was going to die on this hill about Director Hayward of S.W.O.R.D. being someone other than what he says he is. I was adamant, right? And I think I may have convinced y'all, right? Because there was just, okay, maybe not George, fine, be like that. But I think, with the information that he shared, with Wanda, specifically about being able to bring someone back online or back to life, it was just so kind of like, again, never heard that piece of information before. And she's like, how does he know this stuff, right? And Frank, you had a good argument about in the years from the snap to present time, or in Marvel present time, that S.W.O.R.D. has done their research, or they've done their homework, and so that makes a lot of sense as to how and why Hayward would have known that information. But I was convinced he was someone more powerful, or someone just evil, and no, he was just a bad guy who had his own agenda. I guess he wanted to take Wanda out for whatever reason, and I was like, well, damn, like this was a bit anticlimactic as well. Like, aside from the whole Ralph Boner thing, I mean, this was just, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed with that. I was like, again, I was really convinced he was someone else.
Kids.
That is true.
Yeah.
He did.
Terrible aim. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But him being taken out by Darcy was pretty funny. Enjoy prison. That's cool too. But like, I was so convinced he was either like Mephisto, or just someone who just knew more than.
It seemed like he had more power than a regular person.
Yeah.
He was way too cocky in episode 8. Yeah.
We don't know, Britt. You might be right, and like later on in a movie, or maybe we find out. Like, he comes back. I don't know. You never know.
I don't know, but
maybe he becomes more of a villain.
Only in a rerun.
Oh, wow, that was good, Nathan. No, but like I said, I was just so convinced, so convinced, and that was like really, kind of a disappointment for me. Could have done more. Frank, Frank, was there anything in the finale, or sorry, Justin, anything in the finale that kind of maybe you wanted more, or you were just disappointed in?
Yeah, I mean, kind of what George mentioned earlier. A lot of times in these Marvel movies, when there's a global threat going on, or intergalactic threat going on, you normally have multiple heroes team up to fight to combat this issue. And something of this nature, when a town is being overran by a telepathic person who can alter reality, if not Strange, somebody, Marvel, Miss Marvel, or somebody of that ilk to come and at least in the finale, just to help out. So I thought that was that was a letdown. I get it, but at the same time, it would have been kind of dope to have a supporting character, whether it was an Avenger or another superpower individual, help out in that last season finale. In that
We
season
kind
finale.
of had that though with Rambo.
Yeah, but she didn't really fight a lot though. Like,
No.
No,
Yeah.
she just kind of absorbed
Oh.
some bullets.
yeah,
But
she
she
broke the bullets.
also got in on the act too. So it was okay. So real quick, did you guys notice the Incredibles stance?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
noticed
a little
that.
nod there. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. The Incredibles paved the way so that, WandaVision, her family could, continue or whatever that was. That was kind of cool. But like to put a pin in Monica Rambeau, Frank, I mean, she didn't fight a whole lot, right? I mean, she was able to execute some of her powers, which I have questions. It's like, okay, how the hell do you know how to use any of these powers at this point? Like, no explanation of that, which I'm sure,
I don't think she did. I think she just was trying to stop the bullets with her body, and that happened.
Yeah.
maybe so, but then explain like how she was able to figure out how Ralph was being controlled by Agatha. What's her name? Agatha. She used her eyes, like they changed colors. It's like, again, how do you know how to work these powers when you just acquire them through the hex?
Yeah, that was the whole thing with Ralph Pietro. That was the biggest disappointment for me.
Mhm.
Was I love the fact they brought in Quicksilver from the other universe, from the Fox universe version, and then they kind of just didn't make that a thing. Like I liked him, honestly. I liked him as Quicksilver a lot better than the MCU's Quicksilver, and I was like, cool that they're bringing in that character. I thought he was the best character in the movies he was in. So I was a little that's what disappointed me out of that episode the most.
So I have a question about that. So was Agatha that powerful that she can give regular ass people superpowers? That's pretty crazy.
That's a really good question. I have the same question. I don't understand. Like, if she can do that, then why does she need Wanda? If she can create Avenger level people or mutant powered people, then why do you need Wanda?
She wants that tiara.
Well, yeah, I mean, she obviously acquired a lot of power from the dark magic or reading the Book of the Damned or whatever, and that's obviously how she learned about the Scarlet Witch. But she wanted the power of the Scarlet Witch, which
Right.
her mother back in the day obviously had some of those powers. We talked about that last episode. So I don't know. I mean, she's powerful, but not as powerful.
Here's the thing: like, she wanted the powers of the Scarlet Witch, but then at the same time, she would tell Wanda, "You don't know what you just done. So why the fuck do you want it?"
Because and Agatha did say it to Wanda. She says, your problem isn't power, it's the lack of knowledge, which Agatha possessed because
she thinks because she has all the knowledge that she should be able to control it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's her theory. Right. That's her theory. But like that, whatever. And then obviously in the final post credit, you see Wanda, in the astral form, much like what Doctor Strange did during his movie. She's reading the Book of the Damned. And I'm going to mention this real quick. This goes to show for sure that Wanda Maximoff is far more powerful than Doctor Strange, far more powerful than any Sorcerer Supreme, because of the fact that she is able to use her astral form and still be able to do things like, on the daily. I mean, that's incredible, because Doctor Strange could do that, but he was like asleep or he was dying on the operating table, and he's able to use his astral form like that. Like, she can do it while she's still, doing everyday life. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know, and this is me like super nerding out. So I watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The first 5 seasons, which is really, really, really great show. It was tied into Marvel, to the MCU. In that show, Ghost Rider shows up season 5, I believe, season 4. There's a Darkhold book in that show too. Now I'm not sure that's the same Darkhold book that Wanda ended up, or Agatha had, and that Wanda has now, but it's the same type of properties. It's dark magic, and Ghost Rider had to take it out of that dimension and hide it. So I guess my question is, I wonder if that's the same Darkhold book, and that same Darkhold book was also in the Marvel Runaways show on Hulu. So I don't know if that's the same book that's from those last two shows now ended up in Agatha's hands. If so, I wonder how Agatha get it from Ghost Rider, who's also a powerful entity, and Ghost Rider's powers come from Mephisto. A lot of people don't know.
Right. Yeah. And I think I might have mentioned that in the last episode about Ghost Rider getting his powers from Mephisto, like virtually like selling his soul to the devil, if you will, in order to be Ghost Rider. So I think there's probably a correlation, Frank, but at the same time, George, you had shared with us in a chat after our last episode about the book. There was a scene.
I was wrong.
So you were wrong.
Not true. It wasn't that book.
See, I didn't think so because so what we're talking about is a viewer of ours shared with George about a scene of a book in Agatha's basement, and presumably it was a missing book from the Sorcerer Supreme's library at oh god, I'm spacing out in the Doctor Strange location. Anyway, but it ended up not being that book. So so this Darkhold book is very interesting because it's also, quote, the Book of the Damned, if you will, and that's, talks legend of the Scarlet Witch, and once again, she's supposed to be a creature of spontaneity, which I still have questions about. Like her herself, does that mean she can create things randomly, or is it she herself is the spontaneous creation? You know what I mean? Because one thing that I did mention last episode prediction is that the kids were not going to exist beyond this reality, which ended up being true. Now, in her astral form, right, she is trying, presumably, to learn all that she can so that she can get them back.
Well, we did hear them specifically crying out for help.
I think that was another.
I believe that was a direct nod to They Are with Mephisto.
And that's the post-credit scene, just for everybody following along.
So that's why I was like, the Mephisto idea, I think, was still there. We just haven't been introduced that character yet. But that's what I think that was nodding to.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That's interesting, Nathan. Because I just assumed that it was like in another reality, an alternate reality. She's trying to see where her kids were still alive.
No, I think Nathan's. I think what's going to end up happening, because like in the comic book, shards of Mephisto is how she created her kids. I think she's going to cut a deal with Mephisto to bring her kids into this reality.
Mm-hmm.
That guy in hell, or like Mephisto's the devil, right?
He's a Marvel version of the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people who thought that Al Pacino was going to be Mephisto.
That would be fan-fucking-tastic.
Reprising his role from what's the devil movie? The Devil's Advocate.
Devil's Advocate.
Yeah. That would be fantastic. But so what did you guys think about Vision versus Vision?
So that one was the other one that I think I mostly nailed. In that obviously they had their battle, and then he Vision, the one that Wanda created, basically unlocked the memories and the locked off thoughts in the White Vision, which is where I think we're now going to get Vision back from, in the form of this White Vision. And you'll notice they didn't resolve, they left it with him like pondering his existence, and we never saw him again for the rest of the episode. And that's because I think we're going to see him down the road in something else.
Did you guys catch the kind of callback of when he says, I am Vision, you think of I am Iron Man, I am inevitable, that kind of thing? Did that click?
Yeah, no, I didn't make that connection, but yeah, I can see that.
I thought it was kind of a nice nod. I think I interpreted it as like in a way to Tony, because as we know, Vision's voice was, Jarvis, an AI that worked with Tony, obviously. And then with Ultron and Bruce Banner and Tony Stark, they were able to create, what is now the Vision. And now that Vision's full data memory, whatever, has been unlocked, now he's got to kind of redefine himself and say, I am Vision, which I thought that was really cool.
It also kind of harkens to the concept of it, I think, therefore I am, of having true conscious thought, which was the cornerstone of the Vision character in gaining sentience, true sentience, an awareness of self. So
Mhm.
I think it was also kind of calling to that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I thought the visual effects in this show or in this particular episode, I thought were phenomenal. I think the Vision versus Vision, seeing Wanda become the Scarlet Witch. I mean, or is it just me? I mean, I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna get a boner like just watching this, you know, at the
Ralph Boner or
you know.
yeah, and also like just back on the boner, because why not? He was an actor, so was
Yeah.
he even Agnes's husband? Like,
So
did he
my
just
theory,
did he just live in that house and he just was
yes.
randomly Okay.
That's my theory. My theory, because you saw the light bill, it said to Ralph Boner.
Yeah.
And I think when Agnes, whenever she felt the presence of the magic and didn't know make heads or tails, she just made house with him. And because in the
Right.
earlier episodes, she always kept talking about her husband Ralph and this and that, what have you. But we never saw Ralph until this,
Exactly.
final episode. So yeah.
So back to Vision versus Vision. I thought the fight when they were fighting through the air, double vision. There you go. Stigmatism, yeah. I thought it was like almost like watching a Superman fight, like Superman versus Superman or something. It's very cool. I thought the costumes for both those characters were awesome. The costumes for Agatha and for the Scarlet Witch were awesome. Like those are just. What do you think about the costume work? Like to me, it was like really cool.
The Scarlet Witch one at the end was amazing. It was so bad.
Yeah, definitely.
I liked Agatha's also. Yeah.
I'm definitely.
Yeah.
And that particular fight, I thought was really awesome. I loved the callback to the earlier episode that she was learning from Agatha and basically tricked her and set up these wards. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, with the runes. Yeah.
The runes,
Yeah, she quoted back to her about only the witch who casts the protective charm, can use her magic. And that to me was kind of interesting because Wanda had said to Agnes early on in this episode that she's not a witch. No one taught her how to cast spells, but yet she's picking up really quickly these little things here and there from Agatha to use against her. One other, I guess you could say, skill that I thought was great to see again was when Wanda disappeared briefly and then came up from behind to Agatha, the very kind of like choppy walking, and then she used her mind control to get into Agatha's head. I thought that was a really great callback to the first time we really saw Wanda use her powers in Age of Ultron when she was, invoking like the fears or whatever, the nightmares of the Avengers. And that to me, I was just like, oh, this is awesome because this is the first time that we saw Wanda and we're seeing her, in her kind of true state again. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool.
We also had a nice, just kind of fun Wizard of Oz nod in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, when she throws the car into the home and there's a pair of witch boots, shoes.
Steve Rogers would be so proud. He would be like, I understand that reference. Like, I got
it. Yeah, there are a couple of Easter eggs in there. Again, me being a comic book fan, at the end when Wanda says bye to Vision and the kids, Vision cries. And that's actually from an issue, Avengers number 58. When Vision finds out that I don't know what happened, but he cries and he says, what did he say? That even an android can cry, and he sheds a tear. It's the first time he ever sheds a tear in any of the Avengers comic books. That was number 58. So that was a good homage to that issue.
Their farewell, with the kids and even with Vision, that got me in the feels. I mean, that pulled a tear or two from me. And this is like early morning because I didn't want to be the last one to watch the episode because y'all like to, kind of talk about it in the chat before I get a chance to watch it. I'm like, I'm watching this episode this morning and I'm like boo-hooing at like 7:00 in the morning. I'm like, this sucks. Like, this is just going to ruin my day. It got me in the feels of, having to say goodbye to Tommy and Billy, and they're just sweet boys. And but really the goodbye between Wanda and Vision was like, oh gosh, like that hurt.
we are seeing Speed and Wiccan again. I promise you that. That won't be the last that we saw.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
I still think in the comic book they're part of the Young Avengers, and I still think there will be a Young Avengers project coming out, and it will be on that team.
Nice.
yeah. Talking about their goodbye, Vision and Wanda. I did like the part how once again Vision asks her. He said, "What am I?" And she said, "You're a piece of the Mind Stone that lives in me." And then I like the part at the end where he said that he's like, I was a voice, then I became a body, then I became a memory made real. Who knows what I'll be next? I thought that was a really cool send off because I mean obviously like Vision, the White Vision is still out there somewhere, and it's still going to be Paul Bettany playing that character, but it will be a different character, much like how, and this is maybe not as recognized, but how like in Guardians of the Galaxy, like Groot dies in Guardians 1 to save them, right? So baby Groot and teenage Groot, whatever the Groot is now, that was a big bark from a little dog. Groot is a different character, basically. So it's the same thing with Vision. I don't know. I thought it was really cool. Obviously, Luna, not a fan of Groot.
It's a stick.
I think she's more of Rocket Raccoon. Just
Well,
because...
she's a huge fan of sticks, so baby
Right.
Groot is probably not a good mix with her because she's gonna want to like chomp on it.
Yeah, it's a rivalry right there. So let's get. What did y'all think of the witch battle in the air between Wanda and Agatha? I'll go to Frank. What did you think about that?
I got fucking dizzy, man, trying to keep flying in the air. No, but like Brittany said, man, like the graphics and the CG was dope. Like that was probably the most bomb witch battle I've ever seen. Like I at some point I didn't know who was gonna win. Cause like I was like, man, is Scarlet gonna realize how powerful she is? Is she gonna be able to hone into her power in time to defeat Agatha? Like I thought it might continue into Doctor Strange Part 2, because like it was so evenly matched. And I thought it was great. I think Disney does a great job of really setting up these villains and setting up these battles to a point where you don't know who's gonna win. After I watched Infinity War, I don't put anything behind any villain. So yeah, I thought it was great.
That's true. That's true, Frank. Well, especially after watching Infinity War, you never know. That's why. I think that's why it was also let down, because like it was so evenly sided that you thought that Doctor Strange would have to show up and like try and help out or something. But in the end, she learned a lot. Like she took back what she learned from Agatha in the beginning and made the runes, and that literally solved all her problems because she literally couldn't do anything since it was her space. So
Do y'all? I want to pose a question. Do y'all think that after that battle, if you will, and when Wanda came into her own as the Scarlet Witch, and she was drawing back that power that she was expelling to Agatha, do you think she also took Agatha's power as well?
maybe, right? I mean, I don't know why she'd let her keep her power.
I don't know about her power, maybe her knowledge, because she's so powerful as is, and Agatha said multiple times, like, you have no idea how powerful you are, and your knowledge and chaos magic. I don't think she needed it. I think she just duped her and caught her slipping.
Well, the only reason why I bring that up is for this next scene with the setup. After they come back down to Westview from their little sky battle, Wanda basically tells Agatha that she's going to give her the role that she chose and be the nosy neighbor. She's going to live in Westview, and she touches her temple and changes her back into Agnes, and she's got that very hiya hun. She does so well, by the way. But my question is I say Wanda took the power because wouldn't Agatha have fought back or been able to just click out of that in a way? And to that note as well, we know that Wanda had lifted the hex long enough for the people of Westview to leave, and then now they're coming back. But Wanda, ultimately lifts the hex from everything. The kids are gone, Vision's gone, what have you. But what happens to Agatha? Like, she's now back in that Westview kind of state of mind. Like, is she just like, how does that work out? You know, am I making sense?
I agree with you, Britt. Like, that's why I think she had to have taken her power, like, or done something to like put it away, because she could literally just leave.
Snap
like,
out of it.
oh, yeah.
Well, I think I don't think she absorbed her power or her knowledge. In part, the knowledge, because she says, you know, if you need this info, if I need that info, I know where to come back and get it.
Mhm.
And as far as her power goes, I think she just literally, in coming into her powers as Scarlet Witch, just cut her off from it.
Mhm.
Just literally cut her off from it, and, you know, trapped her mind inside of that role.
You don't
But
think
how
she
did
got out of it?
I think she did. I think she did to Agatha, how Agatha did her when she was inside that basement. I think she put a hex spell over her body to where she couldn't use any of her power, and probably just shut down her memory. Because remember when she was prison in that basement, this is Scarlet Witch. This is the most powerful Avenger out there, right? She couldn't use her powers in the damn basement. So I think she just used a hex power, because that was a hex power as well. A hex potion that she used in the basement. I think she used probably a stronger hex potion outside just to wipe her powers.
Maybe so, but it just seems kind of weird. Like, she puts Agatha back as Agnes to live in Westview, but she's lifting the hex, and it's, you know, making everything go back to how it was. So it just seems a little like contradictory in a way to me. Like, why would you put Agnes back in this role and then you're lifting everything else? Like, it's just weird. I don't know.
Because I think because Scarlet's not a killer. Like, she's not a cold bullet. Like, I mean,
Is she though?
well,
she's destined to destroy the world, according to what Agatha said.
I think at her soul, she's not a killer, because if she would have killed Monica Rambeau. She did. She threw her out of the hex. You know
right.
She didn't kill Hayward when they first interrupted the hex. She could have.
That's true.
She could have done that with the army and the guns. I don't think at her now, this is pre-Darkhold. I don't think she's a killer. Now, post-Darkhold, we don't know what's going to happen. But again, in the House of M, in the Marvel universe, she depowered 98% of the mutants. That wasn't a hex.
Right.
She depowered them completely. So, yeah, I think all in all, she's a good person, and like I think Darkhold might tap into to worse impulses. But I think if that happens, Strange will show up in the sequel and could have stopped all of that.
Okay.
And I think we're going to see her in Doctor Strange too.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure.
And, you know, it's interesting. And, you know, she may very well be the villain in Doctor Strange too. Who knows? But in this show, she kind of had the interesting perspective of being both the villain and the hero. She was the main villain, not intentionally necessarily, but she was the main villain because she created this hex from her like infinite sadness, and then she had to be the one to be the hero. But do y'all think that she kind of was let off easy by the fact that she put these people into this, like, you know, tortured these people, which they even talk about how
locked away the
like,
kids.
Right, locked away kids, tortured the people. They whenever they went to sleep, they would have her nightmares. You know, at one part you see the woman from that 70s show. She's like, if you won't free us, then just kill us. Like, let us go. Yeah. We also got to see Dottie, who apparently Dottie was just a regular person named Sarah. She wasn't another character, which we all thought. The internet definitely thought that. The internet was wrong about that too. But you know, do y'all think she was let off easy by like Monica at the end, where Monica's like, you know, Wanda breaks the hex, and you know, because she had the choice of, it's either your family, you either save your family who are tied to the hex, or you save the people Westview. There's no other way. So she had to, you know, to save the people Westview, she had to end the hex. And then after she ends the hex, Monica's, you know, comes up to her and she's like, you know, they'll never know what you sacrificed. And it's like, well, yeah, but she also tortured these people for weeks.
But she also, but it was unintentional. I mean, think about it.
I know, but to me, it's like for her to come up there and say, oh, like, they'll never know what you sacrificed. You sacrificed a dead robot who was already dead and some made up kids. Meanwhile, these people these people had real kids and real people that were like forced to like play these roles in this weird TV show. So like,
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
No, I think
don't-
in the end, what it'll come down to, if you look at the character, Darcy, for example, who was
Right.
excited to get a cameo in the show, it'll really depend on the ratings. Like,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
if it does well, they
No.
can all be like, you know, we deserve compensation for our roles in this show.
Yeah.
But I think in all seriousness, I mean, we come to find out Luna's very passionate about this. She doesn't
Yeah.
appreciate that you're dogging Wanda so harshly, Justin.
Yeah, I didn't kill Sparky though. That was Agatha.
That's
Yep.
true.
Yeah.
No, but like the fact that we learn, obviously, in the previous episode, Wanda did not steal Vision, like Hayward had said. Wanda didn't intentionally kidnap these people. This contrary, this is the place that she and Vision were going to, you know, grow old in, if you will. And she was going to lead a quiet, simple life. And in turn, yes, we talked about this last episode as well. When she has severe grief, I mean, her power just really, you know, elevates, right? And so, yes, she inadvertently kidnapped these people, locked up these kids, and locked up these kids.
I
mean,
think
Right.
what she had.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
I
do
mean, she
hate.
did.
I do hate when like I inadvertently imprison people and make them do what I want. You know, and that happens every once in a while. No, but like she owes these people some kind of restitution. Like she should be a part of the beautification. At least clean up the damn pool at the place. You know,
That's what I thought. I
do
was like, if you're
something.
gonna send it back to normal, at least do them the favor of like clean the pool and straighten the place up.
She
a bit,
left her
you know?
Buick. She left her Buick there. That can go to someone.
it was wrecked. It was wrecked too. Was Tiger Woods driving or?
Oh man.
He used to drive Buick when he could drive.
That's
Sorry.
terrible. That's terrible.
No, but yeah, but to Justin's point, I do understand what you're saying, because like you destroyed a lot of lives here, and like
Yeah.
we're not going to talk about the after effects of these people. You know,
Right.
Kids either they may struggle with, you know, after the fact. I guess my only rebuttal to that is that they understand that she was an Avenger. She helped in 2 global level events in Age of Ultron and in Infinity War and Endgame, saving the world and saving the universe. That's the only thing I could think of why she got off so easily.
She essentially had a psychotic break
Right.
that she suffered from delusions, and the problem is her delusions can be made manifest.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to look at it that way, basically she was able to plead insanity.
Okay, but also
Are you her lawyer or something? Are you?
he's good.
I represent many of the superheroes in the MCU.
I have a lot of questions as to how and why you're in the profession that you're in if you do that. But anyway, I will just point out
Love of the game. Just love of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Monica Rambeau did say, given the power and given the chance, she would have brought back her mom. Like, so that goes to show, like, people, if they're like, I guess, desperate enough, like, you're gonna do whatever it takes.
Kind of like Wonder Woman did in Wonder Woman 1984. She brought back Steve Trevor. It was the same kind of deal. I understand that, but like, I think she owes the people of Westview an apology at the very least.
Or at
Like,
least the pool cleaning.
yeah, buy an ad in the newspaper. Like, my bad. Like, I'm sorry, I ruined everything. Like,
Imagine the trauma these people are gonna have for the rest of their lives, dude.
I know, that's fucked up.
Well,
I
here's
hate
no.
superheroes after
I don't
that.
know that she could do that. I was gonna say, I wonder if she has the ability to just wipe the memory of the past 3 weeks from their mind.
She does.
Why didn't she do that?
So maybe she did, and we just didn't see that.
No.
They-
And
they would-
maybe we're gonna get a nod to that in some future movie, like some newspaper. It says, "Town of Westview can't remember crap for 3 weeks."
Yeah, I mean, she's more powerful than Charles Xavier, so she definitely has the ability to do that.
Then why didn't she do that? That would have been smart.
yeah.
It would have been. But I guess to answer Justin's question about, you know, why did she get off so easy? If you're the government, what are you gonna do with her? You can't put her in prison. You can't kill her. Like,
Yeah.
No, but I mean, she's above the government. I think it's,
Yeah, like-
you know, all the Avengers, they're all, you know, I don't care about the Sokovia Accords or rules and laws, whatever. Like they can do whatever they want. It's just, you know, she wants to fit in and she wants to be a person of the world. I'm not blaming her per se, but I'm saying like, I didn't like the line from Monica, like all you sacrifice. It's like, You took a lot from people.
I think I know where this is
Whatever
going.
it takes, Justin. Whatever it
Right.
takes.
Guys, I think I know where this is going. So the FBI agent, the former Shield agent,
Yeah.
what's
Jimmy
his name?
Woo.
Woo.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a tie-in with Men in Black, and he's gonna go around in the town the first episode and just like make them all forget.
Wait, I have a question about that too.
That might be a show. What's
Wait, I
up?
have a question about that too. So Jimmy Woo was tracking a missing person. Who the fuck was
Right.
the missing person?
It was supposedly it was the male guy.
It was
Oh,
the
really?
It was the male the one that
The
delivered the mail.
The delivery guy.
Yeah, it's supposed
Really?
saying
Oh.
he's like he kept saying don't shoot, I'm just the messenger, whatever the fuck he would say. He'd say it every time.
Oh, wow. I never noticed that.
That he was this is all like fucking theories. But they said because he was like an informant, like for the mob, whatever, and he sounded like a mob guy, that he was
Whoa. Wait, hold on. Let's pump the brakes.
It's all over my head.
This is a crazy internet theory.
It is.
Like, I
But it
mean,
makes sense. I believe this one because people were saying that if it was Ralph, but it's not Ralph.
No, not
So-
Ralph.
no.
And who else is it gonna be? Like it would make sense for someone from like a mob family to go into the witness protection program.
So this
Okay.
guy's like a soprano or something, right?
That's kind of
So it's like a crossover. They're just MCU's crossing over into like the
Oh,
HBO
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy. I did want to point out one thing real quick. I thought the handcuffed Jimmy Woo stealing the cell phone was the worst scene of the show.
the guard was right behind him.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the cell phone on the table. Everyone can hear it either ringing or vibrating. They can all see it. He like walks over there with his hands behind his back because he's handcuffed, and he picks it up. And I'm like, that would never work.
But
Like-
but remember, he's been practicing magic tricks and sleight of hand.
There was nothing magical about that.
Hey, he did make the escape out of the handcuffs, flourish, which by the way, that's a
flourish.
callback to when Vision
So-
was the magician in the second episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flourish.
Yep. So let's get to the end credit scenes, or the mid credit and then the post credit. We had a mid credit scene where Jimmy was in charge of Westview. Darcy's gone. Hayward is arrested, and he's
Debriefs
taken
are
off-
for the week.
What's that?
Debriefs are for the week. That's
There you
what
go.
Darcy said.
Yep. And then Monica goes into the movie theater there, and she meets up with a scroll who says she was sent by an old friend of your mother's. He'd like to meet you, and points up. So
He heard you were
question's-
grounded.
Right. My question to y'all, was she talking about Talos or
I
tricky
think it's
Nikki
Nick Fury.
Fury? Yeah.
Very-
Yeah.
Nick Fury, hands down. Oh, Nick
Because-
Fury.
Because we gotta remember this. WandaVision happens before Spider-Man.
Yes, it does.
But Spider-Man Far From Home came out first. So this is what, a week after Endgame?
But no. Yeah, about 3 weeks. I think.
About
they
3
said.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think she's talking about Fury.
Yeah.
Being up in the moon or wherever he's at.
For sure.
And I think that we're gonna see a lot of Michael Rambo and Invasion. When that
Mhm.
comes out.
Well, and then too, I mean, she's got these. Good lord, she's got these powers too that someone's got to explain. Someone somewhere, maybe
Yeah.
out this door, over here. Luna, go.
Flourish.
But flourish. Yeah. So, now she's got these powers. She had always I guess wanted to go to space, and now she's gonna go presumably back to space and meet up with Fury.
Let me continue to Captain Marvel too. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
What's really dope is that the last time Fury saw her, she was a little girl.
Yeah.
Right.
They were on Captain Marvel when they were all talking and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that'd be kind of a dope. I hope we see that on screen, that dope reunion between her and Fury.
For sure. For sure.
And then let's get to the end credit scene. We kind of already referenced it, but we see Wanda. She's at this cabin in these beautiful mountains, and she's reading the Darkhold, and very much a Doctor Strange kind of moment where I can't really explain what's going on. She has her hands out. She's got the red hands and
Her astral form.
astral form. Okay, and then she hears her boys scream for help.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
Which that
go ahead.
also reminded me of the ending of Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, when Bruce Banner, isolates himself in a very
Mhm.
beautiful, serene thing to try to, get his anger, if you will, under control. So I thought that was kind of an interesting, maybe not quite a nod, but just parallel. But yeah, like I said already, she seems to be more powerful than Doctor Strange because Scarlet Witch is said to be more powerful than Supreme Sorcerer Supreme. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens come 2022. But we have to wait until 2022. What the fuck?
I bet the sex is amazing in Astro Form. Golly, that's the only thing I kept thinking about, like the vibrating in and out of reality. Oh my god, got to be powerful. I know that.
Oh my god, Frank.
I mean, why didn't she bring Ralph Boner with her to the cabin?
Ah,
Like that's
fantastic.
That was a miss on Disney.
oh god, that'd have been terrible because they're brother and sister. I forgot about that.
That's gross. This is not Game of Thrones, Justin.
But it is worth noting that the two actors, well, not this Pietro, but the other Pietro and Elizabeth Olsen, they played lovers in Godzilla 2014.
Their husband and wife. Or husband and wife.
Okay, whatever, same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's let's get to final thoughts on the series. We only got a couple minutes here. I'm gonna go to Nathan first. What are your final thoughts or lasting memories or questions you might have for WandaVision?
I thought it did a good job telling a story. I love the fact that it was a romance, that it was a romance story they disguised as a superhero show.
Yeah.
And I thought it was brilliantly conceived with the whole television aspect going through the generations. 2 thumbs up.
Awesome. George, what do you think? Lasting thoughts on WandaVision?
Solid TV show. Marvel did it again. It's not surprising. I was skeptical at first just because of the black and white thing, but then as it kept going through the eras, I was like, wow, this is pretty fucking cool.
Don't be racist. What? We're diverse in the show, dog.
Anyways, yeah, it was great. I'm excited for the movie, and honestly, I'm excited for Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and the Falcon show.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, yep. Okay. Brittany, what are your final thoughts on WandaVision?
Solid show, for sure. I would encourage everyone who is on the fence about watching it to watch it, although you do need a background of these characters in general. First, I still have a question. How the hell was Hayward able to tag the Vision within the Hex when he didn't have access? Like, there's still lots of questions that I need answers to.
Who was the
Frank.
rabbit? Who was the rabbit? No one knows.
Senor Scratchy, right?
And they're scratchy. I still think that's a nod to Mephisto.
Probably.
Okay.
But still some questions that were left unanswered. Obviously, new questions arose at the end. Overall, like I said, solid show. Could it have done more? Absolutely. I would have been even content if Wong from Doctor Strange showed up, if not Doctor Strange, but that's okay. Frank.
Great show, man. Just again, I think we all 5 of us have stressed this over and over again. Marvel does a great job of developing characters. They just do. They have the magic touch. I did not think this show would be as good as it was, and I mean, Paul Bettany has great acting chops. I mean, we know about his acting awareness. Lizzie Olsen is a fan favorite of mine now. Like, I will be watching anything Scarlet Witch, and as long as she's playing that role, I will be down for it.
Yeah, my final thoughts to follow Frank's point. The acting was superb. Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Catherine Hahn, they all just killed it. I mean, it was incredible acting. The music was great in this show, whether it be the songs they chose from those time periods or the parody versions of the songs like Agatha All Along, or the different versions of the theme song every week. I mean, the music was awesome. And then I think just like kind of what Nathan said, how they recreated these classic TV shows from the 50s all the way up until present day. That's an astonishing achievement. It really is. Like, I don't know that very many, companies could do that and do it so well. And then also intermix a superhero storyline, this crazy universe with witches and robots and, you know, fictional kids and all kinds of stuff. So all in all, it was excellent. I love WandaVision. I think there might be some kind of sequel series in the future. It won't be called WandaVision, but it might be called The Scarlet Witch. Who knows?
I still, one last thing.
Okay.
I still think that we should have seen John Wick show up to deal with.
Yes.
That could be John Wick 4. We don't know that. We don't know.
You're right. We don't know that.
Yeah. It could be
Fantastic.
the crossover we've always wanted and needed, right?
Fantastic.
So we don't exactly know when Wanda will return, but we know when we're going to return. We're returning in a few short weeks to review The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And as I'm talking about the show, Brittany's already got our graphic, our Watchers themed graphic for the show. And guys, I think it's the best one.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Microphone on the shield.
We need to sell merch.
Anyone out there who's got a t-shirt, you know, or, you know, just printing company, yo, gotta hook it up, because I'm very proud of this logo. It was very challenging, but you know what? I'd do anything for the Watchers in the Basement because it's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, it's my favorite one. I can't wait to get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the show. But don't forget, the day before the Falcon Winter Soldier starts on March 18th, there's a little thing called the Justice League Snyder Cut, March 18th.
Here we go.
If I have to review it by myself, I will do that. Okay, I will do that.
I think you're the only one that's gonna watch it, so I think you'd
For real.
kind of have to.
I'm gonna watch it for
For
sure. I
real.
have to.
I'm with you, Justin. I'll do it.
Okay.
Aw, look at you supporting each other.
I still haven't seen the original one, so
You've got time. You've got a week.
I'm not gonna watch it twice, dude. It's one or the other.
It's not the same. It's not the same movie. It's not the same movie.
I'm glad.
No, you gotta watch it to compare and contrast.
Oh no, that's a hard pass.
You gotta, yeah.
It's hard.
You
pass.
need to listen.
I'll watch a
So
recap.
instead of losing 4 hours of your life, George, you can lose 8.
6. It's still 6.
That's still too much.
No, I'll watch a recap
Well,
for the first one, and then I'll watch the full 4 hours.
George, here's what you got to do. You need to watch the special edition or the extended edition of Batman vs Superman, 3 hours. It's 3 hours and 2 minutes. Okay, those 2 minutes fly
Look,
by.
we're losing George. Look, we're losing George right now. No,
3
no,
hours,
we gotta
2
wrap.
minutes.
Come on, we gotta
Then
wrap.
Justice League 2017, then Snyder Cut. That's your day right there. That's your day. That's my day. That's what I'm doing.
No,
Oh my
no,
God.
no.
Okay, but no, we'll be back to review the Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're all looking forward to it, and we hope you will be there as well. So for Nathan, for George, for Brittany, for Frank, this is Justin signing out. We will see you in a few weeks.
Don't forget to follow us on social media.